Welcome all to Wrestle Talk with David and Pops. This is our Mount Rushmores Part 1
of a four-part series.
Of a four-part series. Thank you, David. I totally forgot to put that part in. So, let's get to it.
Our four-part series starts today. We are starting off today, I should say, with the male superstars. A Mount Rushmore of male superstars.
Alrighty.
I will go first.
All right.
We're going to give our four, the reason why we have our four, and then there and that. Number one. I think this should be on everyone's Mount Rushmore. Just for the... And to clarify, this is not in any particular order. This is just the way I wrote it down. It's the way Pops wrote it down. Number one should be on everyone's Mount Rushmore just because he's a generational talent. Maybe not his current work right now as a heel, but John Cena.
Nice pick.
For obvious reasons, you know, his work in going from almost being fired to now being the top of the world, honestly. All of his Make-A-Wish work, he's gonna go down as one of the greatest men in history. Number two, Eddie Guerrero. Eddie is all-time one of my favorite wrestlers, and overcame a lot in the industry. Gone way too soon, and he just revolutionized wrestling for me, particularly because I loved watching Eddie wrestle. Going back and watching a bunch of old pay-per-views and stuff like that, I always, watch the Eddie Guerrero matches as much as I can. Number three, technical wrestler. One of the best technical wrestlers in wrestling is Bryan Danielson. So we got like the entertainer, and then you got the professional, like technical wrestler, and then my last one is I don't even know, you can't describe it, but New Jack. New Jack is part of the hardcore wrestling scene and ECW, and just he personified the extreme, and I love watching.
Even before that, when he was in Mid-South and stuff like that, he was like one of the first Afro-Americans that he was just awesome.
New Jack.
Very good pick.
Yeah. All right, you're four.
Okay, well, we're going to start mine off with number one, Dusty Rhodes. He was the man that I've been obsessed with since I first saw him. The common man before the polka dots and this and that and the NWA and stuff like that. He was the common man. He was the man that you would watch on the television. He's charismatic. He talked on a microphone. He wrestled so good and this and that, but he could be like your average Joe. He was your dad. He was, your uncle. He was this and that. He was just like the average guy. He didn't have this superstar body or anything like that. He just had your normal thing. And so that was my number one. My number two on this list, like David said, it's not in any order, but for me it kind of is Andre the Giant. Thank you. Andre the Giant, I met the man a couple of times when I was younger and this and that. And he also, like Dusty, Dusty was like the father, your uncle and this and that. Andre was, for me when I was a young man, I was a large young man, so he kind of personified what all the troubles and stuff that he had and being picked on and stuff like that, and being a large man trying to fit into a booth and this and that, So I had that problems when I was a young man. My number three is Bruno Sammartino Bruno Sammartino, when I was a kid and this and that, he was the first match I ever remember seeing. Against Larry Sabisco and the Big Red Axe and this and that. So I can date the date and everything. Back to 1980, and that's when I first started really watching on a weekly basis. So there's no doubt he has to be on my Mount Rushmore. He's probably on a lot of people's Mount Rushmore. Okay, and then for the last one, we're going to start with Ric Flair. Woo, baby! Ric Flair, I put him on there because it's kind of cemented. My George Washington, to me, was Dusty Rhodes, and my Abe Lincoln, to me, is Ric Flair. Without each other, we wouldn't have, we wouldn't have either of them. We wouldn't have what we have today. We wouldn't have promos like we have today. These two were so awesome on the mic. They did hour matches, this and that, blah, blah, blah. They invented some of the matches that we will be talking about later and this and that. So there you go. Ric Flair has got to be on my Mount Rushmore.
So there we got it. My Mount Rushmore, John Cena, Bryan Danielson, Eddie Guerrero, New Jack. Your Mount Rushmore is Dusty Rhodes, Andre, Bruno, Ric Flair. It shows the difference in our ages. Just saying.
Yes, it does.
Just saying.
No, it does. And once you're at it for 40 years, yours will look like, what I'm saying. And mine won't be around.
Next up, we will do female superstar. I'll have you start this one off.
Okay, my female superstars. We're going to go with number one. It was Amy Dumas, better known to you all as Lita. Lita was one of the first female wrestlers that I followed and I got into and this and that. Back when she was a manager in ECW for Danny Doring and Roadkill. She was my number one, and she would be my number one. She'd be my George Washington on my Mount Rushmore. And then we go into number two. You got Moolah. Moolah was like she started training, and she's the one that got all the women that were on TV and this and that, and stuff like that. In the WWE, Moolah was the shit. You know what I'm saying? She was the champion forever, and this and that, and And that brings me to number three, because number three, Wendy Richter was the first woman to ever beat Moolah for that title, and that introduced us all to the, kind of like the Divas era and this and that. She was good to look at, and she was also pretty talented inside the ring and this and that. Now we move on to the last spot in my number four, in my Abe Lincoln, Talia Madison. I know David's got the picture of Velvet Sky. That's who she became, and this and that. She was a local wrestler, and this and that, and I love Talia so much. I used that fan group for her, and this and that, on the old Yahoo groups and stuff. So I did many videos and stuff like that for her and about her, and I just was in love with her. I thought she was the greatest thing since bread and butter. And there you go. You have my top four. Mount Rushmore.
I gotcha. Here's mine. Starts off with a generational, like I said before, generational talent, going from proving with Amy Dumas, or Lita, as everyone else calls her, Trish Stratus, putting on hell of matches with Lita and showing that women can wrestle. They're not just eye candy.
And they both looked good too, but they showed that, hey, it's not just, hey, these guys aren't there for just looks. They're here. They got some talent.
Exactly. Yes. My number two, Athena. The longest reigning Ring of Honor champion in all of Ring of Honor currently. Just pure talent. She can put on a match. She can sell. She can. Oh, just watching an Athena match is just. You're not gonna hate it. You know, it's just. She is one of the best.
Right.
Kind of like your Moolah, I have Mae Young. She's got a whole entire tournament in NXT named after her, the Mae Young Classic. She is a, you know, just watching Mae Young birth a hand as a small child is probably the number one reason why she's on my Mount Rushmore, because she was a good comedy.
Mark Henry was her daddy.
She was a good comedy, but she was also a good, you know, good.
Yeah, in her heyday when she was wrestling, she was probably one of the best wrestlers.
And then
along with Moolah.
To round it out, AJ Lee is my number 4. AJ Lee being the last of the Divas era. You know, she put an end to the Divas. She didn't want to be known as a diva. She wanted to be known as a woman. That promo, her version of the pipe bomb, which we'll be talking about later, but I will say her version of the pipe bomb against the Bella Twins and everyone that was on Total Divas at the time. She's just great on the mic, great in the ring. Generational talent.
There you go.
So my 4, Trish Stratus, Athena, Mae Young, AJ Lee. Your 4, Lita, Moolah, Wendy Richter, Velvet Sky, or Talia Madison. Next up, we have match types. I don't have any pictures for the next 2, so we're just going to sit on this screen. You went first. Last time, I'm going first this time. I got scrambles. Used a lot on the indies, not as much in the federations and stuff like that. AEW tries to do them a little bit, but they're more gauntlets than scrambles.
Yeah.
But throw 6 dudes in a ring, 8 dudes in a ring, whatever, and battle to the end. You know, Blitzkrieg does it best with the mother of all scrambles.
Right, exactly.
That's all I can say about that. Tag team. Just a plain old tag team match. Tag out, tag in, grab that little tag rope. Will forever be one of my favorite matches.
Yes.
From the E-Fed point of things, where it's me and Pops or me and Dan or anything, to the watching it live at an indie event and talking to the people on the ropes and being like, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, get in there." Stuff like that. Just interaction.
The indies tag team matches are totally, yeah. You know, like the big leagues. There was a big tag match last night. Yes.
And then the TLC. TLC is one of the greatest. You know, you got the crazy hardcore spots where you're, going through tables, going through ladders. People are throwing chairs around the ring. And it just makes me think of the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys. It's one of my all-time favorite matches. That is definitely top tier. And learning about it more, hearing the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys talk about it, and be like, yeah, this match, we put this match on the map, whatever, da-da-da. It is just, the more you know about it, it's the better it gets. And the last one I have here is the Feast or Fired match. Kind of like Money in the Bank, kind of like a ladder match, but it's not. You get 4 briefcases, 3 of them you get a title shot, last one you get fired. It builds so much storyline throughout.
Very good for storyline.
throughout the show and throughout the match, then you find out, oh, I gotta, the singles guy gets a tag team match, gets a tag team title shot. He doesn't want that. But he could have been fired. So he's, I guess I'll find a partner.
He saved, yeah, he'll find a partner or something.
So it's I think it's one of the best gimmick matches in the history.
There you go.
Now you're 4.
All right, let's start it off. We're going to go with the old school battle royal. I'm talking like the 30-man, 40-man battle royal. Not where like everybody is in the ring and you have to go over the top rope and stuff like that. That's my number one match type, and the reason why I just used to enjoy them so much back in the day, and your traditional style. Battle royal, because there's nothing like that. Just watching 40 and how they get 40 men in the ring and this and that and blah blah. And the matches created out of that were they were great. They were great. Anyways, then we're moving on to number 2, which is Hell in the Cell. Hell in the Cell. The first you think Hell in the Cell, you automatically think Undertaker. And this and that, and like you were saying before, like earlier, about the E-Feds and stuff like that. The Hell in the Cell is one of the greatest ones to watch in the E-Feds and this and that also. You automatically, you hear that Hell in the Cell, you think of Mick Foley coming off the top, Rikishi coming off the top and going through tables and this and that. It was totally awesome, the Hell in the Cell match. Okay, now we're moving on to my third pick, the Ultimate X. The Ultimate X match, it was pretty damn good. It was awesome. TNA with their 6-sided ring, and then they put an X up on top, and this and that, and they hang the belt from it. And the first one to get to that belt was going to be the champion, the X Division champion. And oh my God, since day one, there's been some awesome Ultimate X matches, and this and that. So then, at least my last one.
Too.
Yeah, crazy spots. And it leads me to my last one, and one of David's was just like a regular tag team match. I'm going with the Tornado tag team match. I mean, there's nothing better than having all 4 guys like in the ring and this and that at one time, and they're, going back and forth and this and that and blah, blah, blah. You got inside, outside. It's just, the Tornado tag match is one of the best ever.
Yeah, exactly. Tornado tags is always fun. Honorable mention here. Talking about tag team matches, because we both had tag team matches. The Lucha Rules tag team match, where you didn't have to tag in, you didn't have to tag out. You just, whoever was in the ring was the legal opponent. And I think that's one of the coolest,
coolest concept that they have in
keeps it fresh.
Tag.
All right. Our last Mount Rushmore. The iconic, you can't have wrestling without promos. So, promos. You can go first.
All right. I can go first. So that means I gotta put this down a little bit. Hold on. Number 1, I'm going with Eddie Guerrero. I Am an Addict. When he went off with Brock Lesnar right before the championship match and stuff like that, where I believe he did win the title.
He did.
On that. Yeah, he did. He won the title on that.
So that's why I know.
So, and this and that. But he, that promo was just, it got me. It gets me right here. Other than my number 2, I mean, this is right up there. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be on everybody's much more. But a lot of people, they don't remember and they don't talk about it. But that's my number 1 was the Eddie Guerrero. I Am an Addict. Just the pure. He was that wasn't written on a piece of paper. That came from right here.
It was all from that.
Yeah, it came from his heart and this and that. And I cry even to this day watching it, because there's be something I will catch and miss in this and that. And then number 2, we got Hard Times by Dusty Rhodes. That promo will go down in history as one of the greatest of all times by, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's on my Mount Rushmore by Dusty. Just the way he put it in Target, he became the common man. That's where he could talk about things and you felt like I said before about him. He was your uncle. He was your brother. He was your dad. He was, this and that. He just became the common man, and that totally brought him into a new era and world type of thing. And number 3, we got Piper's Pit. Do you want a coconut? With Snuka.
Iconic.
I mean, iconic. That Piper's Pit where, he's talking to him and he's kind of like putting him down, and Snuka gets all pissed off, and then he whacks him with a freaking coconut and he destroys it and this and that. And back as a young man, I'm watching this and I'm going, and I'm at this point in time, I'm still thinking, hey, this isn't all been staged and this and that. It's real. It was real to me. You hear that guy, it's real to me, and this, that. Back then, it was so real to me. And that coconut and this and that, and it was just iconic. And Piper is very good on the microphone and this and that. And Piper's Pit, I mean, there's 100 of them out there, and every time he just was amazing. But that one there stuck out the most for me. Okay, now on to my last one. It's kind of a tag team, we'll say, promo. Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman get personal. It was on WWE Raw, and they talk about Dusty, and they talk about all the great stuff he done and this and that and this and that. But that's got to be one of my favorite promos of all time. I just rewatched it 2 days ago or 3 days ago when I was putting these little lists together. And this and that, and I had to pick that because, just the raw emotion, tears in people's eyes, and this and that, and it just got to you because they were talking about my favorite wrestler of all time, Cody's dad, and Paul Heyman, one of Paul Heyman's best friends, and this and that. So there you go. There you have it. My top 4 promos.
Gotcha. Your number 1, much like my number 1, is the Eddie's an Addict promo. Like you said, watching it to this day, you still get emotional, you still get teary-eyed, because you know that it's not just a promo. It's real life. It's 100% real. Becoming, overcoming addiction.
I am an addict. I do it, and it's just like,
you're overcoming it, and just, it's pure raw emotion. Next one, again, both my number 1 and number 2 hit so hard. Last night after I wrote it down, as I was writing it down, I started getting teary-eyed and emotional. Cody Rhodes' I Need My Brother promo from Double or Nothing. The callbacks to when Dusty did it with him. Well, when Dusty did it with Dustin. And then the callbacks to, I don't need a partner, I need my son. But Cody says, I don't need a partner, I need my brother. They hug in the ring, and there's the blood and everything after one of the best matches in history.
Right, it was up there.
It was just pure.
Yeah.
Like I said, pure emotion, and it's not a promo. It's emotional. It's just like you said with the Eddie promo, that wasn't written on paper. That was from the heart and remembering and paying tribute.
And that's all these promos. Yeah, all these promos that I picked, and so far, and then you have picked, and I know that you have picked. They all have that common thread of emotional. You can't write them down on a piece of paper, and there's no way that any of these were written down on a piece of paper. They were shoot from the hip, and that's the best ones.
the next
He
one
probably also.
is Hangman's meds are not working anymore. Where he's talking to John Moxley. He's talking about how he wakes up every day and the anxiety and depression, and he's taking his meds and they're not working, but he still gets up and does it because he's a man and he's got something to prove. It talks, not a lot in, in the wrestling community, in the male community in general. Mental health was not talked about for so long, but now it's changing, and a lot of people are saying, "Hey, put your mental health first. Get up, take your meds, do this. The meds might not always work, but you got to push through it. You got to get all that. Fight through it." And that's basically what Hangman said, and it's one of the best.
Very inspirational. Very inspirational for somebody who, like me, I've been having a lot of problems and this and that. But I think of that in I could have had it on my list, but it's one that I will wake up I wake up every day and I can think about it and this and that, and but I got a good support system and stuff like that, and so didn't he. But very awesome, very awesome.
And then my last one is a generational promo that is still referenced to this day, 10, 11 years later. It's a CM Punk pipe bomb. Again, we talk about raw emotion. We talk about not being written down. He went out there with a microphone. They kept shutting it off, but he kept going.
He kept going.
And
he just kept.
He did not give a shit. He was unhappy where he was, and he let it rip. I think it was one of the best.
It was. It knowing that you were gonna use that and stuff, kind of, it was very hard. This one was very hard to pick out just 4 favorites for a Mount Rushmore, because my Mount Rushmore would have your 4, my 4, and probably there's 4 or 5 other ones that are awesome and this and that. So that was a good one. And that's going to bring us to the end of this.
That is the end of our part 1. Part 1 of 4 series. Do you want to? Do you want to tell the next categories, or you want to just wait?
I think what we do is we wait on that kind of deal. But make sure, if you like this, you agree with us and this and whatever, subscribe to the YouTube page. Comment in any comments and this and that. If you got a different list.
Comment your Mount Rushmore in the comments. For anyone, I'm saying comment your Mount Rushmore in the comments. Any one of the.
Any one of the categories or all the categories. You can do anything like that. But the big one is just make sure you subscribe to the channel, because then you'll get these live. They're usually posted on a Wednesday afternoon, I think, is when this series is taking over for the tier series, which we're going to have more tier series in the future. But this is going to be our Wednesday thing for a little bit. Just make sure you rate, subscribe, and comment. And the next one, you could just give them the categories, real quick if you wanted to. It's tag teams, managers, and that's all I can see.
Commentators and weapons. So
commentators and weapons.
That's something to look forward to in our next part 2. We'll see you guys next video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell to stay notified with us.
That's right. Peace, love, monkeys. We're out of here.